There's a 7-word question that forces car dealerships to drop their prices by $2,000 in under 10 minutes. But 90% of people who try it ask at the wrong time and end up paying more. I'm going to show you exactly when to deploy it and exactly what happens when you do. Picture yourself walking into a dealership at 2 in the afternoon. You're buying a used Accord. Clean title, fair price. You've done your research, you know the market value. You have financing pre-approved at 4.9%. You think you're ready. You're not. By 6:30 that evening, you're still sitting in the finance office. Exhausted, hungry, your kids are texting you, you just want to leave. The finance manager has pitched you an extended warranty for $2,800, gap insurance for $795, tire and wheel protection for $650, key replacement for $395, paint protection for $900, total add-ons $5,640. But here's what you could do instead. Ask one question, it takes 4 seconds, the finance manager disappears for 8 minutes, comes back with new numbers, extended warranty dropped to $1,900, gap insurance to $450, tire and wheel to $200, paint protection vanished, savings $2,450. You're going to get that question by the end of this. But first, you need to understand why it works. Because if you ask it wrong, it backfires completely. Time is the weapon. Dealerships track time to signature. Like hospitals track mortality rates, dealers track how long it takes from the moment you walk in to the moment you sign. And they've learned something about human psychology. The longer you sit in that building, the more likely you are to sign whatever they put in front of you. Your brain degrades, decision-making accuracy drops, you start trading precision for speed. You want the pain to end, so you sign. They know this, you don't. The system has 3 phases: delay, urgency, and exhaustion. Phase 1 is delay. They slow everything down at the beginning. You wait for the salesperson, you wait for the keys, you wait for the manager to approve the numbers. Every single delay is manufactured. They're burning your decision-making stamina. The average dealership visit is 3 to 5 hours. That's not an accident, that's the design. Phase 2 is urgency. Once they've exhausted you, they flip the script. Another customer just called about this car. The price is only good today. The manager's leaving in 20 minutes. All manufactured pressure. But you're tired. You've been there for 4 hours. You can't think clearly anymore, so the urgency feels real. Phase 3 is exhaustion. The finance manager sits you down in the finance office and starts pitching add-ons. Extended warranties, gap insurance, tire protection, paint protection, maintenance plans. Your brain is done. You can't evaluate whether any of this makes sense. You just want to sign and leave. They've manufactured a situation where your exhaustion becomes their profit center. The entire system depends on keeping you in that building as long as possible. But there's a single sentence that collapses this. One question that forces them to abandon the time trap completely. It shifts the power dynamic in 4 seconds. The question works because it's a script breaker. Finance managers are trained to handle objections. They're trained to overcome resistance. They're trained to bundle products and focus you on monthly payments. But they're not trained to handle this question. Once you ask it, their strategy has to shift from how do I maximize profit to how do I keep this deal from walking? The whole power structure inverts. The moment you ask this question, they'll pause, they'll excuse themselves to talk to a manager, they'll come back with different numbers, because they know if they don't adjust, you're leaving. So they have to compete or make 0 profit. But you need to understand the failure case first, because most people destroy this with bad timing. Your brain has a decision-making budget. You can make a finite number of high-quality decisions in a single day before your accuracy degrades. Researchers call it decision fatigue. Dealerships call it opportunity. After 90 minutes of negotiating, you can't accurately evaluate whether gap insurance at $795 is a good deal or a scam. You just want the process to end. The finance manager manufactures delays. Let me get the keys. Let me find the manager. Each one burns 15 minutes. Each one makes you invest hours into this specific vehicle. Because the more time you invest, the less likely you are to walk away and start over somewhere else. Your invested time becomes their leverage. Once they've delayed you for 2 to 3 hours, they flip the urgency switch. This price expires today. Another customer just called. All manufactured, but you're exhausted. Your brain interprets their urgency as real because you want to believe the process is almost over. That's when they move you to the finance office. You think you're done negotiating, you're wrong. This is where they make most of their profit. They'll pitch you 8 to 12 products. Each one costs between $300 and $3,000. Total add-ons can exceed $6,000. They're counting on your exhaustion to prevent evaluation. When the finance manager says this extended warranty is only $48 a month, you can't calculate that's $3,456 over 72 months. You just hear $48. The dealership makes more money in the next 20 minutes than they did selling you the car, sometimes 2 to 3 times more, all because you're too exhausted to think clearly. But here's what they don't control. One question. The moment you ask it, the power dynamic inverts. Most customers never ask this question because they don't know it exists. You don't have to be that customer. If you want to see more psychological breakdowns of how industries manipulate you and exactly how to counter them, hit the subscribe button right now. The next video breaks down how insurance companies use similar time compression tactics to get you to overpay. You're not going to want to miss it. You asked the question in the first 10 minutes. You just donated $900 to the dealership's profit margin. Imagine this. You walk in, clean credit, pre-approved. Within 10 minutes, you deploy what you think is the nuclear option. You ask the question, the predator doesn't blink. Says, sure, no problem. We can absolutely work with your bank. You think you've won. You haven't, because you've asked before the dealership invested any time in you. So the predator isn't threatened, he's relieved. Now he knows you won't use dealership financing, which means he stops trying to make money on the interest rate markup and focuses entirely on overpricing the vehicle and loading the back end with add-ons. You negotiate for another hour. Think you got a fair deal. Go into the finance office. The finance manager pitches add-ons totaling $5,000. You try to negotiate. The finance manager barely moves. Total savings, $300. The reality, the truck was overpriced by $600. The extended warranty was marked up by $1,200. The gap was marked up by $350. Total overpayment, $2,800. You thought you saved money using your own financing. You saved maybe $200 on the interest rate, but you lost $2,800 on everything else. Net result, you donated $2,600. Why? Because you asked the question at the wrong time. You revealed your strategy before the dealership had any reason to care whether you stayed or left. This is the most common mistake. People think having information is the same as having leverage. It's not. Leverage requires timing. You need to make them invest time and effort. Let them think they're about to win. Then deploy the weapon. Ask it too early and they don't care if you walk. Ask it after they've invested 3 hours. They care very much. Here's where you come in. Comment below with just a number. How many hours did you sit at the dealership during your last car purchase? No explanation, just the number. I need 300 responses to prove this time trap exists at every dealership in the country. Your comment isn't engaging, it's evidence. Drop the number right now. Here's what not to say, ever. Don't say, I know all your tricks. Don't make it personal. The moment you do that, you've lost. They dig in. They stop caring whether you buy. Never say, I have a friend who works at a dealership. Provides zero leverage. Never say, I've been researching this for weeks. It makes you sound desperate. You just handed them psychological leverage. Never say, what's your best price? This is the weakest move in negotiation. The question has no teeth. Instead, be polite, be respectful, don't interrupt, just listen. Let them go through their entire pitch. Let them invest time. Then deploy the weapon, but only if you have the prerequisites, because this question only works if you're holding a loaded exit. If you're bluffing, they'll call it. Picture yourself doing this right. You're buying a CRV. You'll save $2,100 in 12 minutes. You go to your bank 3 days before shopping. Get pre-approved for $36,000 at 4.2% for 72 months. Pre-approval letter with the exact rate and exact term in writing. Then you research the CRV. Look at market values on 3 pricing sites. Find 5 comparable vehicles. Know the average transaction price. Write it down. Then you get quotes on extended warranties from third-party providers. I know the average cost is $1,400. This next part is where 90% fail. You get quotes on gap insurance from your credit union. $425. The dealership is about to pitch your gap at $795. That's $370 you would lose by being lazy. Then you walk into the dealership. No time pressure. I don't need the car today. Just shopping. Rule. If the deal doesn't feel right, I'm leaving. You mean it. Your body language shows it. You negotiate the vehicle price. It takes 90 minutes. You stay calm. Eventually, you settle at $31,600, fair price. Then they move you to the finance office. The gatekeeper runs your credit, comes back with financing at 5.1%. You don't react, just listen. Then the gatekeeper pitches the add-ons, extended warranty for $3,800, gap for $795, tire and wheel for $650, key replacement for $395, total add-ons, $5,640. You listen to the entire pitch. Don't interrupt. It takes 25 minutes. Then the gatekeeper says, so which of these packages looks good to you? And you ask the question, what would my payment be if I just financed it through my own bank? 4 seconds, 7 words. The gatekeeper pauses, says, what rate did your bank give you? You hand her the pre-approval letter, 4.2%, 72 months. She says, let me go talk to my manager real quick. 10 minutes later, she comes back. New numbers. Extended warranty dropped from $3,800 to $2,200. The gap dropped from $795 to $450. Tire and wheel dropped to $200. Key replacement vanished. Total cost went from $5,640 to $2,850. Savings, $2,790. You buy the extended warranty and gap. Total cost $2,650. The original would have been $4,595. Savings, $1,945. Plus you use your own financing at 4.2 instead of 5.1. That's another $153 in interest savings. Total savings, $2,098. 12 minutes, one question. The power dynamic shifted the moment you asked because you had the prerequisites. Pre-approval in writing, no time pressure, knowledge of market values, knowledge of product costs, genuine willingness to walk. The gatekeeper knew you weren't bluffing, so she had a choice. Compete or lose the deal. She competed. The question is a bluff detector. When you ask, what would my payment be if I just financed through my own bank, you're threatening to eliminate their profit on the interest rate markup. If you're bluffing, they call it. If you're not, they fold. Now imagine doing this without prerequisites. You're buying a Wrangler, no pre-approval. I need the vehicle that day. Desperate. You try the question anyway. The finance manager says, well, if you don't use our financing, we can't give you this price on the vehicle. You fold. Use dealer financing at 6.9% when your credit union would have given you 4.8. Costs you $2,100 extra in interest. Plus the finance manager loads you with add-ons totaling $5,500. Total overpayment, $7,600. Why? You didn't have the prerequisites. You were desperate. The finance manager called your bluff. The question only works if you have ammunition. Here's the checklist. You need all of these. Pre-approval from your own bank, in writing, with exact rate and exact term. Go to the bank, fill out the application, get the letter. Knowledge of the vehicle's market value, not MSRP, the actual transaction price, what people are paying. Look at 3 pricing sites, write it down. Competitive quotes on back-end products, extended warranties from third-party providers, gap insurance from your credit union. Know what these cost outside the dealership. No time pressure. If you have to buy today, you have 0 power. Don't shop when desperate. Plan ahead. Give yourself weeks. Genuine willingness to walk away. Real willingness. Be prepared to leave without buying. If you're not willing to walk, the question fails. Without these prerequisites, the weapon doesn't fire. With them, the weapon is devastating. The finance manager is working the finance desk. You're buying a used Tacoma. Polite, respectful, let the finance manager go through the entire pitch. He pitched an extended warranty for $4,200, gap insurance for $895, maintenance plan for $1,200, total $6,295. He finishes, says, so what? Sounds good to you. You say, what would my payment be if I just financed through my own credit union? You hand him a pre-approval letter, 3.9%, 60 months. He runs the numbers. Your payment with his financing at 5.6%, $643. Your payment with your credit union at 3.9%, $597. Difference, $46 a month. Over 60 months, that's $2,760 in lost profit for him. He excuses himself, goes to the sales manager. This buyer knows what they're doing. If we don't adjust, they're walking. They run new numbers. Extended warranty drops to $2,800. Gap drops to $500. Maintenance plan eliminated. He comes back. You buy the extended warranty and gap. Total $3,300. His commission went from $3,000 to $612. He lost $2,388 in 4 seconds. But here's what you did right. You didn't ask in the first 5 minutes. You didn't interrupt. You let him invest time, let him think he was building momentum. Then you deployed the weapon? That's the key. Timing. Here's the exact script. Word for word. Walk into the finance office. The gatekeeper will run your credit. Come back with financing terms. Start pitching add-ons. Let them pitch. Don't interrupt. Don't shake your head. Don't cross your arms. Just listen. Let them go through every product. Extended warranty, gap insurance, tire and wheel, key replacement, paint protection, all of it. Let them finish. They'll say, so which of these packages looks good to you? That's your cue. What would my payment be if I just financed it through my own bank? Hand them your pre-approval letter, tell them the rate, tell them the term, then shut up. Do not say another word. Do not explain. Do not fill the silence. Just sit there. Wait. They'll process. Look at the letter. Look at their screen. Stay silent. They'll realize you're eliminating their interest rate markup. Their profit just dropped to almost zero. They'll say, let me go talk to my manager. 5 to 10 minutes. When they come back, the numbers will be different. Extended warranty will drop 30 to 50%. The gap will drop 30 to 40%. Some products will disappear. They'll say, okay, I talked to my manager and here's what we can do for you. That's when you decide. Want any of these at the new price? If yes, buy them. If no, decline politely. Either way, you've taken control. You've forced transparency. You've made them compete. You've saved anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000. This works because it breaks their script. The question forces them to disclose the cost of every add-on separately, forces them to compete against your outside financing, signals you understand the game. That shifts the entire dynamic. Before the question, they're in control. After the question, you are. After you ask and hand them your letter, shut up, the silence is the pressure. They'll break first, every time. Here's how you read their response. Good dealers will answer immediately. They'll run the numbers. They'll adjust pricing to compete. They'll be transparent. Bad dealers will get defensive. We can't share that information. You have to use our financing to get this vehicle price. The promotional rate requires dealer financing. If they say that, get up and leave. They're hiding something. They're not willing to compete. Find a different dealership. This question is your filter. It separates dealers who will treat you fairly from dealers who will exploit you. Use it every single time. Ask the question. Hand them your pre-approval letter, then shut up and let the silence do the work. If this just saved you from signing a bad deal, share it with someone who's car shopping right now. Send them this video. Because every person who knows this question is one less person getting exploited by time compression and manufactured urgency. That share could save them $2,000. 4 seconds, 7 words, 1 question. What would my payment be if I just financed it through my own bank? Deploy it correctly. Watch what happens next.